Hey y'all, Tony Gasson here. Now this part two, so there's another video named the same thing, Tyler Perry accusation. So if you hear me say this part two, that means it's the first one. But I don't really like to read, and I was not about to read the rest of that lawsuit. But I'm like, you know what? If I'm reading it on camera, then that's totally different because that's a part of work. I can't read that in my free time. And so that's why I'm doing this second one to finish reading this because now I am absolutely intrigued. Now I'm intrigued. I wish somebody could read it to me or I could watch a documentary. But y'all forgive my wife texting me. So I just, I'm going to look into this here and we're going to finish reading this right here where Dixon assumed that Tyler Perry was genuinely a caring person who discovered the talent that Dixon always felt he had. Dixon filmed his roles in Ruthless in mid-November and went back to his job as an event staff for Legendary Events. Approximately 1 month later, Perry bought and gave Dixon a new car because he hated Dixon's Jeep. Dixon was surprised and elated. Dixon had no idea that he was being set up by Perry for extreme dependence. Y'all need to say what kind of car it was now, because that matters. If he bought him one of them Geo Metros, you ain't hitting on nobody then. Now, at that point, you picking on him. Now, what kind of car did he buy the man? Because that matter now. In December of 2019, Dixon was requested to be part of the event staff at another event at Perry's home in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. After that event, Perry started frequently sending text messages, making phone calls, and demanding that Dixon give Perry some attention. On New Year's Eve 2019, Tyler Perry texted Dixon, "Hey, nah, just on the side note, man, I want me an event staff and be able to throw me an event in a nice house one day. So then if you want them event style, just keep on watching my videos. So when I do my casting call one day, you get on here. Do not bring Derek with you now, because he be out here in the foolishness." On New Year's Eve 2019, Tyler Perry texted Dixon, "I can't tell you the last time I pumped gas or went to the supermarket or fly commercial or packed a bag or had good sex. It was before I was rich." Dixon found these messages to be strange and untowardly coming from untowardly. Now, if that's a real word, untowardly. That's my first time seeing that word. Untowardly. Oh, yes, sir, Bob. Well, we finna be using this untowardly. Untowardly. It's a verb. Is an adverb meaning in an inappropriate, unfavorable, or inconvenient way. Man, let me hit the pronunciation on there, because I need to know how to say this. This finna be, what it say? Inappropriate, unfavorable, or inconvenient way. Now, what it say? How they use that? To be strange and untowardly coming from someone like Tyler Perry. How do you pronounce the word now? They normally have that right at the top of the Google search. Come on now. They tripping.
Untowardly.
Dang.
Untowardly.
Y'all tripping. Ain't how you.
Untowardly.
Untoward.
Untowardly. Untowardly. Untowardly.
No, that mess up the conversation. You got to be using all them syllables. Untowardly. Y'all forgive me. Untowardly, coming from someone like Tyler Perry, but being new to the industry, Dixon played along by downplaying the sexual comments and hoping that being around Perry would allow him to showcase his talents as an actor and writer. Soon after Dixon began giving Perry more attention, Perry made his move on Dixon. In January 2020, y'all see how long ago this was? It's like, I'm coming on. Not somebody try me. Like, I'm coming out the next month, man. Like, y'all be taking too long for me. 5 years, bro. And you a man now. I can't speak for a woman, but just as a man, come on now. It's like, somebody please try me so I can get my lawsuit. Please try me, man. I'm coming out the next day. Lawsuit, 10 million. He talk about he want me to do this to him. Yeah, run me a check. In January 2020, just a few months after his first acting gig, Perry invited plaintiff to his home in Douglasville County, Georgia. Plaintiff showed up to the home hoping that he would be given a chance to befriend Perry and show him how talented an actor Dixon was. At Perry's home, Dixon was served many alcoholic drinks which Perry also partook in. Dixon felt that Perry was genuinely interested in Dixon's talent as an actor and writer. Perry made no sexual advances at Dixon while they were drinking, and the conversation was friendly. I just need to be a fly on the wall for that conversation. At the end of the night, and y'all better be glad I ain't got the endless money, because I'd be recreating this right here lawsuit to play this out to see before I could, look at this right here. We'll be watching it like a little webisode. You hear me? Because this here is interesting. At the end of the night, Perry told Dixon not to drive home. Perry said it was dangerous and that Dixon was too inebriated to drive home. Dixon agreed and was escorted to a separate guest room, not knowing that this was a ruse to allow Perry to assault Dixon. Dixon was tired and did not have pajamas, so he got into bed only wearing underwear. Before he knew what was happening, Dixon felt someone else slip into bed behind him. Oh, I forgot about that part now. I forgot about that part and started rubbing Dixon's body around his inner thigh and in a highly sexual and suggestive manner. Dixon turned around and saw that Tyler Perry was in bed with him. So you just land there. Somebody big and burly get in the bed. You don't feel the bed move. You ain't hear nobody walk in the door. You ain't hear nobody come in. Somebody get in that bed, the covers lift. That cool breeze hit you in your drawers. All of that right there happened. You ain't sense nothing. Then not somebody on you, not somebody rubbing on your thigh. And you just ever so slightly and gently turn. Oh, Tyler, what are you doing here? That don't make no sense now. Y'all should have wrote that better. Because even if I'm knocked out asleep, and talking about before Dixon was tired and did not have pajamas, so he got in bed only wearing underwear, before he knew what was happening. Even if I'm knocked out asleep, if somebody go to touch me, you not finna there. Tyler, what are you doing here? No, bro. Tyler would have had a bust lip. He'd have been on the set the next day with an ice pack. Yeah, fell. Slipped and fell. Every now and then my deal get the best of me. Man, come on now. That ain't even adding up. At this point, Dixon's stomach started to turn, and he began feeling nauseous. Instinctively, Dixon jumped out of bed and told Tyler Perry that he wasn't that sexual. Tyler Perry ignored the comments and told Dixon to turn around so Perry could see him naked in his underwear. Perry then commented on how beautiful Dixon's body was. Dixon once again told Perry that he was not into sex. Dixon kept informing Perry that he was not into sex in order to keep Perry at bay while at the same time not insulting the person who was dangling his career in front of him. In response to Dixon's frequent assertions that Dixon was not into sex, Perry started prying further. Perry would send Dixon a text message saying, "I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me. I hope you get past that block in your mind soon." Perry was implying that Dixon would hopefully get past the block in his mind and would let Tyler Perry make love to him. But then Dixon said in the text, it's Tyler say, "I will hope that you will let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me, I hope you get past that block in your mind soon." Then he say, "Well, it's not this person, but yes, I want that too. I'm working on it. Therapy is helping." So he talking about another person with him. They not even talking about Tyler. After that assault in January, Dixon felt betrayed. Perry continued to call or text Dixon every day, asking to talk to him more. Dixon ignored Perry, which led Perry to text him, "Derek, why don't you text me more?" The more Dixon ignored Perry, the more aggressive Perry became, until finally Perry offered Dixon a part in a new show called The Oval. Dixon was intrigued and was hoping that this would be the big break that he was looking for and a chance for him to display his acting talent. On February 11, 2020, Perry told Dixon to quit his job at Legendary Events and come work exclusively for Perry. Perry was not able to control Dixon so long as Dixon had a secondary income that was providing for his basic needs. Once Dixon quit his job due to his role on The Oval, Perry started getting more and more personal with Dixon, knowing that Dixon was now under his control. Perry would often say things like, "Hey y'all, I got a board meeting for a board that I'm sitting on that, I'll tell y'all about. Well, I'm on the advisory board and it's in 30 minutes, so I may have to either pause this or I might be done reading it. But I'm going to just try to read it. I'm on page 14 of 46 though, so I don't know. And I don't even know how much this thing going to let me read." Perry would often say things like, "I give and give and give, and no one ever does anything for me in return. No one ever gives me what I want or what I need," implying that Dixon was not giving him sex. Perry started asking Dixon about Dixon's sexual preferences and what role Dixon took on when engaging in sexual acts, whether he was a top or bottom, which in sexual terms means whether Dixon preferred to give or receive anal sex. Perry further indicated to Dixon that he had sex with men before and that he was a top. Perry further told Dixon that when you have a big D, talking about DI, and when you hit the G spot right on these bottoms, when you hit the G spot right on these bottoms, they go crazy. Now, do they read all this in the court of law? Because I ain't know what I would get myself into. I'm not a lawyer. I'm about to get sick. I ain't know what I would get myself into. I don't know if Bill fits there. I said, man, I'm intrigued because this is a giant, this is a big. So I said, man, let me finish reading it. But I said, I don't want to just read this by myself now. Let me make this part of work now. And now we getting a little, what that lady used to write them books. Zane. I never read one, but I heard they were nasty. I'm like, my goodness. What the world? What? I ain't even know men had no G-spot. Like, what the world they talk about? I'm up here, I'm like, my, I'm in education class. Like, Where y'all talking about? Perry further told plaintiff that he wanted a man who was in a relationship with another individual, but with whom he could be emotionally involved and engage in sexual acts with, like a friend with benefits relationship, because Perry did not have time to deal with the emotional aspect of a relationship, only the physical. It's like, bro, how are you a prostitute then? Like, you want a whole real person. Get you a blow up dog. And if that is true, Perry also asking to lose his life. It's like, bro, somebody catch you sleeping with a partner, you could lose your life like that. Like, that's crazy. Despite these comments, Dixon knew that a full-throated, now why did you use that word? Dixon knew that a full-throated refusal would land him, okay, refusal. I'm like, what he finna full throat? The full-throated refusal would land him in the doghouse and might result in his role being cut on the oval. Fearing that his career would end before it began, Dixon put up with these comments and continued to maintain that he was not the sexual type. On or around March 2020, Dixon received the script for the Oval. He was written in as a season regular and was therefore expected to quit his job with Legendary Events. Dixon's character was written as a gay, homeless, and desperate store clerk who had to sleep with one of the other characters for a place to stay. More importantly, at the end of the season, hold on now, that sounds like his real life. Cause he left a job at Legendary Event. Right now, you homeless, and you're desperate to be an actor. But in here, you're a store clerk, and you got to sleep with one of the other characters. That's Tyler Perry for somewhere to stay. More importantly, at the end of the season, his character would be shot 4 times in the chest. Dixon felt that this was a way for Perry to test Dixon out for a year and see if he would be loyal to Perry. When Dixon asked Perry about the shooting, Perry indicated that if Dixon did a good job, Dixon would be back, and that a shooting didn't necessarily mean that Dixon's character was out of the script for future seasons. Perry commented that Dixon's character was only shot in the chest, not in the head. Okay. Alright. Ain't your heart in your chest? Okay. You see how Tyler be writing these things? Tyler, come on, dog. Get a few other people in there, man. I mean, yeah, you could live probably, but I ain't never seen it or heard of it. And I come from where shootings happen at. It's like, okay, like, who living through 4 shots to the chest? Like, you want to try it? Do you want to try it? I don't want to try it. It's like, what the real kind of writing is this? Dixon immediately understood that his job security depended on his relationship with Perry. From this point on, Dixon worked with the constant fear of losing his job if he did not engage with and endure Perry's sexual harassment. If this is true, to me it sounds like that Perry would have just been given this role to do this with him for this year and then wipe his hands with him. And it also make you think about the black men that we've seen in Tyler Perry projects that we never seen again. And that these was tall, muscular guys who I'm assuming would be seen as handsome by men who like men or women who like men. And then they disappeared. I'm like, was they being tried and they walked away and gave up their career because they didn't want to get tried? Or did they actually give in and get used and still got disposed of and lied to? The unfortunate thing for Tyler Perry is if he has any more of this in his life, in his story, in his past, it may be another man or two that speaks up and that says, yes, that happened to me too. And they come out and say something. So we're going to see. Shortly after giving Dixon this news and after telling Dixon that future seasons were dependent on Dixon doing a good job, Tyler Perry invited Dixon to his home in Atlanta. Plaintiff asked questions and tried to wiggle his way out of the invitation because he remembered what happened the last time the two were alone. However, plaintiff knew that his job, security, income, and livelihood depended on his attendance. Plaintiff had seen other employees of Perry's who had experienced sudden deaths on the show when they fell on Perry's bad side. In fact, Perry had made it clear to Dixon that he would often kill characters in order to get an actor to be loyal or obedient. When Dixon arrived at the house, Tyler Perry gave Dixon a warm welcome and was very friendly. Soon after, Tyler Perry started asking Dixon a slew of sexually charged questions, even asking if Dixon liked it rough in bed. Perry then physically reached out and violently grabbed Dixon's throat, attempting to physically choke Dixon, and remarked, "Wow, look how excited you just got. You do like that." Dixon was horrified, shocked, and in a panic. Dixon never thought that Tyler Perry could get so violent and would place his hands on Dixon's throat in a sexually aggressive manner. Dixon did not enjoy or consent to any of his conduct. Dixon was in shock and took steps to immediately de-escalate the situation. Due to the onset of COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020, filming for The Oval was postponed indefinitely. During the period in which filming for The Oval was postponed, Tyler Perry would make FaceTime calls and other contacts to Dixon almost every day, treating Dixon as his on-call pet. Dixon felt obligated to answer for fear of losing his role, income, and career. Perry often asked Dixon about his whereabouts, often demanding that Dixon respond immediately. When he didn't, Perry would send text messages to Dixon stating, "Derek," all caps with 3 exclamation marks, "Grr," all caps. That's GRRRR. That's spelled grr, grr with 4 exclamation marks. And "what are you doing?" Now, why would he put that grr in there? This is something. Additionally, Perry was jealous of anyone who Dixon had a relationship with. Tyler Perry told Dixon that if Dixon got COVID-19 from his roommate at the time, Dixon would not be able to shoot The Oval. Perry encouraged Dixon to move into one of the on-set studio houses owned by Perry, where Perry would have more control over Dixon's whereabouts. Thereafter, Perry would text plaintiff about other actors on his show, Ruthless. Perry told Dixon how he manipulated employees through ruthless retaliation. Perry told Dixon that if he did not like the way an actor behaved or the way the actor was acting, the character would simply die in season 2. Dixon understood that Perry was informing Dixon to be cautious about disappointing or upsetting Perry. As a result, Dixon continued to put up with Perry's suggestive messages and sexual advances while doing his best to protect himself by taking notes and amassing evidence of the sexual harassment and keeping old text messages. In one conversation in or around April 2020, Perry told Dixon that Perry imagined Dixon prancing around in a cowboy outfit and that Perry did things to Dixon that he couldn't talk with Dixon about any further because they were so wrong. In or around April of 2020, while Dixon was living in the studio homes on set, Perry often coerced Dixon to drink alcohol and then get on the phone with Perry. Perry would frequently have someone drop off alcohol at Dixon's door. Perry would eventually turn these phone calls into sexually explicit rants. Perry would get frustrated with Dixon and tell Dixon that he was not giving Perry what he needs. Dixon's refusals to succumb to Perry's sexual advances caused Perry to be ever more frustrated. Eventually, Perry warned Dixon that if Dixon told his castmates about the harassment, Dixon would be opening himself up to lots of questions and foolishness, and demanded that Dixon not discuss any of their conversations with his castmates. Man, now the more I read all of this, it's sounding real. It's sounding true. And because, too, Tyler Perry got a lot of trauma. You know, you done slept in your car and been homeless and went through all of that. It's like a lot of times you go through a lot and you go through all of that and don't properly heal, and then you become a millionaire and then you become a billionaire and you done went through a lot. It's like that trauma could play out. Perry upped the stakes by telling Dixon point blank that he was not to tell anyone about their friendship. Perry told Dixon that it should all remain a secret and tried to make it seem like this secret was for Dixon's benefit. Perry continued to sexually harass Dixon. On June 27, 2020, defendant Perry texted Dixon that all he wanted for his birthday were biscuits and BJs, referring to blowjobs, oral sex, but that all Perry ever received were biscuits, insinuating a request for oral sex from Dixon. This text was followed by other messages calling Dixon cute, cutie, and that Perry was just thinking about Dixon. Despite these advances, Dixon continued to act professionally and continued to tell Perry he was not sexual. That seemed to be the only way of keeping Perry at bay while keeping his job. In July 2020, Perry remarked about how much he loved the script for Dixon's television series called Losing It, and exclaimed that he wanted to shoot the pilot for it. Perry would never really work toward that goal, and what Perry was really doing was making Dixon more dependent on Perry so that Perry could later extract sexual favors from Dixon as a quid pro quo to produce the pilot. In or around August 2020, Dixon and his castmates began shooting for the Oval after delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic, during which time all castmates and crew lived on the studio set in a quarantine bubble. Now let me see what these messages say. See what these messages say here. Listen to me. If you let the cast know that you and I have a new friendship, then you are opening yourself up to a lot of questions and foolishness. You want them to know, in all caps, that you are there because of your talent and not because we have a friendship or because Tony got me to give you the job. Now listen. He ain't talking about me now. Oh Lord, I done pulled the screen up to my face. I ain't realized I was in my face like that. Y'all forgive me. I was trying. I forgot I'm on camera. Y'all forgive me. I probably, y'all all, it count my teeth, everything. Y'all forgive me. I was trying to read. I was trying to read the screen. Man, I'm all up in the screen. And for those y'all watching the TV, let me make sure I ain't have nothing crazy in my face. I'm all in the camera, boy. Y'all forgive me for that. I got to go in 15 minutes. But it's just so small I can't see it right here on the thing. And somebody Tony got given a job. Why the man had to have my name? You earn your spot like everyone else. Don't give people an opportunity to play you small or they will. I can't teach you everything. Unfortunately, there are some things you'll have to learn for yourself. Because when we go back into work, I'm not going to know you. I don't have any friends that work for me, my friend. Professionalism is the key. Yeah, in front of people. And then behind closed doors, all this tomfoolery going on. You're totally right, Dixon said. Y'all forgive me, that's my 15-minute notice before my call because I got to change clothes. I hope you got it, my friend, Tyler says. Y'all saying it like how the books be saying. That makes total sense, Dixon says. Just watch the behavior of everyone around me on set, Tyler says. Yeah, I will, Dixon says. Don't want to give anyone that opportunity because work is work, Dixon says. So, hey, let me see where I was now. This man said he want biscuits and BJ. Now, see, my thing is, I don't really think you can make that up. Shortly after, Perry confided in Dixon that two cast members were peeing him off. Using the P word, but the peeing him off, ticking him off. I don't use that P word. And that Perry swore that he knew how to fix this S. That's what was in the synopsis, too. Perry added that he loves killing a mother effer in a show that no one expects. That he was going to shoot them all shot and kill them mofos characters, referring to killing off characters in the Oval played by actors who Perry wanted to retaliate against. More importantly, Perry stated in one text message, I may need to shoot the shootout early, which Dixon understood to mean that unless the actors knew they were going to die and that their time on the show was over, they wouldn't change their ways. Perry was going to film the shootout early so that the actors would be more submissive to Perry's request. Perry intentionally made these comments to instill fear in Dixon. Mr. Dixon now knew that he too would lose his job if Dixon did not play ball with Perry's sexual harassment. This is what Perry had been setting up. Dixon was now fully relying on Perry for his income, hope, and future aspirations. Perry made it clear that Dixon was not to disclose the relationship to anyone, and Dixon was aware that Tyler Perry would kill him off the show for good, thereby ending his career if Dixon got on Perry's bad side. To top it all off, Dixon already knew that his character was shot 4 times in the end of the season, but that shots might not be fatal. In July 2020, Perry read the script of Dixon's pilot and told Dixon that he loved the show so much he wanted to shoot the pilot for it. Dixon did not know that Perry never intended on shooting the show. Perry knew that he could use the motivation of shooting Mr. Dixon's show to get Dixon to do what Dixon had been resisting for many months, which was to give Perry the sexual gratification Perry so craved. Once the stage was set, Perry knew he could get away with sexual harassment. During the filming of The Oval in 2020, Perry engaged in a severe and pervasive trade of sexual commentary, included but not limited to that Dixon liked being choked, followed by Dixon's being choked by a cast member in one scene on The Oval. Why do you twist your hips when you walk? How can I get a day of Dixon? When will you be thick again? I love how I feel right now, but I don't like being horny. I feel so sorry for the first person who flirts with me. I've been trying to put that energy somewhere, but everything is sexual on this stuff. That snake across the table made me think of a photo of Nicki Minaj from the music video for her song Anaconda, in which she references intercourse with male genitalia symbolized by a snake. I was gladly chalk you right now, referring to Perry's desire. Oh, I will gladly choke. They got a typo. I'm like, chalk. I'm thinking, what is chalk? I'm like, look up another word. Say COCHOCK. I'm like, now what is this word? And then they put the parentheses that say sick, the SIC, which what do that mean? I know y'all lawyers know what that mean, and y'all don't fill the comments with that, cause it's like I could Google it. Y'all, yeah, people, and y'all be done Google it when they put that right there. That's sick. Okay, pronounced sick is a Latin term meaning thus or so, often used parenthetically in quoted text to indicate that a word, phrase, or passage is intentionally reproduced as it appeared in the original source, even if it contains errors or unconventional usage. Okay, so they put that sick right there because he had a typo in choke and it spelled it chalk. Okay, all right. I was always wondering about that. Okay, direct quote from the original text. See, listen, you learn it too, cause you ain't looked that up. You ain't looked that up. A suggestion that Dixon should get braces behind his teeth, but that plaintiff would have to give up BJ's, and that it could be dangerous for Dixon's partner, especially if they're not circumcised. Like, what kind of conversation is they having? That's when you were that's when you were thick, Derek. Fun Derek, drunk Derek, before COVID Derek. I miss him. Just without a butt. That man got his acting going on. Thick Derek would have worked them pants out. Perry also photographed Dixon's buttocks while on set and sending the picture to Dixon. Two text messages of many show that Perry was jealous of seeing Dixon with other men and that Perry describes Dixon as so beautiful. What I mean by that is that you're so beautiful. When you finally are able to unlock your mind, you're going to make that person crazy. This series of comments and other unwanted sexual references made Dixon highly uncomfortable. Dixon was caught in a bind. He could not complain to anyone in HR. He had nowhere to turn for relief from the sexual harassment, and he knew that if he did not endure it, he would be killed off from the Oval. Dixon was unsure whether to joke back or rebuff Perry's sexual harassment, so he endured it, knowing that his job was on the line if he did not engage. I ain't even halfway through the lawsuit. Boy, these folks love to listen to themselves talk. But hey, I got to get ready for my board meeting and need to change clothes. This is a very interesting accusation, so I'm definitely gonna finish reading it because I'm just curious to see like the validity of it and how real it sounds or how fictitious it sounds, and have to draw my own conclusion. Not sure if something like this will go to court or anything, but it's interesting. And then it's that Dixon is someone that got close. In the response, the Tyler Perry team said that Dixon is someone that got close to Tyler to set up a scam. But it's like, I'm not sure, it's a scam unless just how people talk to each other. Like, so I'm guessing the guy Dixon is gay because you ain't even doing all that talking to no straight man. So I don't know if Tyler seen something in him and could tell, but I don't know. I might need to see an interview of Buddy to see what he was giving off that had Tyler thinking he could talk like this to him and all of that. Yeah, cause this here wild though. But hey, this Tony Gasson. God bless you, and we'll talk soon. Hey, Tony Gasson here. Forgot I had to move around, and so made it back. I was able to just pause this, and schedule was a little throwed off today, and couldn't actually do all my meetings because I had to move around. But picking up on where we left off on the lawsuit, I'm gonna just keep reading it and then we'll get on through it and just know all the details and kind of be able to assess for ourselves what's really going on. Perry would also share intimate details of his own sex life with Dixon. Among other things, Perry would tell Dixon that he had not had good sex since he became rich, and that there were certain times where he had not been touched in months. On the second to last day of shooting for the Oval, Dixon filmed the episode where his character was shot 4 times, indicating a seeming end to his role on the show and his termination from the job. It was precisely following this day of filming when Tyler Perry knew that Dixon's character fate was to be decided that Perry invited Dixon to his trailer for drinks. Dixon knew that refusing meant the end of his career, so he accepted. It was there, on the very same day, that Perry dialed up the harassment to a new level. Tyler Perry asked Derek Dixon point blank, "Are you attracted to me?" and demanded that Dixon answer. Plaintiff reiterated the same way he did after the first assault by skirting the question. Dixon told Perry that Dixon wasn't that sexual or looking for anything. Perry's incessant probing did not stop. Perry continued to talk about how good looking and sexy Dixon was, and that plaintiff was wasting his looks by not being free and having sex. Dixon repeatedly deflected these comments with neutral answers, constantly looking for ways to avoid Tyler Perry's sexual interrogation while continuing to worry about his future on the Oval. Mr. Perry was testing how far he could go with Dixon. After enduring the harassment and doing his best to dodge the situation, Mr. Dixon got up and the two exchanged goodbyes. As Dixon was leaving Perry's trailer, Perry got up and pinned Dixon against the wall. Perry began aggressively groping Dixon's buttocks in a sexual motion. Tyler Perry began downwards, reaching down towards Dixon's buttocks and groped Dixon's butt in a strong and sexual manner that could not have been a mere accident. Dixon stood frozen in horror, and could not reciprocate to fight back. I feel you though, bro. I'd have been horrified too. But some uppercuts would have ensued. Like, listen, it had to be a couple uppercuts, man. Job and all, man. No, nah. Wow. Now let me see the text message because they put it in the thing in writing, but then they put a picture and it say write. And we just had a heaping dose of it and now it's back to nothing. It's really weird. I don't know if they talking about COVID-19 right there. And then somebody said, I didn't have any contact. What are you talking about? I haven't been touched in months. I'm guessing that's what Tyler said. Then Dixon said, oh, you mean touching? I thought you meant being around people. And then Tyler said, Jacob. And then Dixon said, I love that you only say that when I'm being stupid. LOL. I guess the Jacob's dumb A version of me. And then Tyler said, not dumb A, but blonde. And he spelled blonde wrong. Tyler, I'm gonna need you to do better. I'm gonna need you to do better. Got misspelling with the black harassment. Like, at least spell the words right now. I'm spelling chalk. I'm gonna chalk you and leaving the E off blonde. And it was a sexual manner that could not have been a mere accident. Dixon stood frozen in horror and could not reciprocate or fight back. All Dixon could do was let his body go cold and limp. Seeing that Dixon had no desire in Perry, Perry told Dixon that he was drunk and asked Dixon to leave the trailer. As soon as Derek Dixon left the trailer following Perry's violent assault, Dixon became severely nauseous and extremely anxious about his job, career, and livelihood. Dixon felt trapped within the confines of the studio's quarantine bubble. There was still another shoot the next day. Dixon called his friend Justin Bryant on the phone and told him everything that happened and was unaware of any human resources representatives to whom he could report the assault. Plaintiff had no one to turn to and nowhere to go to save him from Perry's aggressive sexual harassment and exploitation. Now it's weird that he wait until the day after his character gets shot to make the phone call. So it's really like, were you offended by this, or were you willing to go through all of this as long as you get what you want? And then as soon as you don't get what you want, now all of this is a problem. So it's almost like, it sounds like somebody holding out. And this me being unbiased. Like, I'm not a Tyler Perry fan. I'm not a fan of any man. So don't get it twisted. Now, to me personally, I believe the stuff happened. But do I think Dixon was like so offended and just so disgusted and all this, keep getting nauseous and all of that? Like, I find that hard to believe. Nah, because it sounds like he in the men. And like Perry understands that he in the men. Like, nah, I could see getting nauseous if you not in the men. Nah. So if that's the case, okay. But it's a little interesting now. The next day, Perry acted like nothing happened, and this time he did not even offer Mr. Dixon an apology. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you now. Tyler Perry could have a real drinking issue, but being at that level, they also got that stuff you could drink and stuff like that that knock that alcohol on off for you. So he could have a real drinking issue now. Following this exchange, Dixon began to avoid Perry as much as possible. However, Dixon still felt the need to answer Perry's incessant text messages. I'm curious, like, how that felt to be incessantly texted by a billionaire, and like to have a billionaire like that in a chokehold, where the billionaire chasing you. And that's what to me is just like, okay, yeah, you got a role in a movie and you getting paid, but to me it's like, bruh, if I got to go through all that, yeah, I need the business class to Maldives by myself for two. And then I'll be like, yeah, her name Cherie Gaskins, they're just a cover up. And it's like, just been so stressed and everything, getting ready to go to therapy to get this mental block off me. So it's like, I just got to keep her happy. So like, yeah, Tony Gaskins, Cherie Gaskins to the Maldives. Like, not for me, that's Tony Gaskins. Now, if I was him, I'd have been trying to get out there by myself, or you take your mama with you. Like, bro, you going through all this for a road, man, you better get you a trip. Like, get you a trip, get you something. Like, I bet the black men who went through this got so much, they probably laid in the shade. They probably like, man, I ain't want to act anyway. I got me. They probably get their rent and mortgage paid, probably got a house bought. Nah, black man, oh dude, you finna come off some more than that now. You finna come off more than a little car. Y'all forgive me. So sorry. I'm texting my wife. I forgot I was even on the camera. My wife started texting me. That's my bad. Or, okay, where was that? The next day, Perry acted like nothing happened. And this time, he did not even offer Mr. Dixon an apology. Following this exchange, Dixon began to avoid Perry as much as possible. However, Dixon still felt the need to answer Perry's incessant text messages, so he changed his approach. Dixon often pretended to be asleep to avoid being harassed by Perry. However, Perry persisted by texting Dixon the following messages. Are you awake? Question mark. Stop ignoring me. You are awake, Derek. Wake up, all caps. I know you're not sleeping, all caps, and give me attention. Wow. Man, I wonder if Tyler read this whole thing. Because, boy, if he read this whole thing and this is real, woo, boy, you hear me? Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. In or around early October 2020, Perry invited Dixon and other actors from the Oval on a cash trip to Perry's personal island in the Bahamas. Man, boy, that old Tyler Perry got some money. That man got a personal island in the Bahamas. He got the house in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, house in Atlanta, sound like house in California, and a personal island in the Bahamas. Hey, boy, listen. See, I'm gonna tell you now. Let me tell y'all something. On the other side of this thing now, on the other side of this thing, one of the things that happen is the powers that be, they will build you up. They will pay you all that money, all that money, all that money, all that money, build you up knowing they'll green light you knowing that you got dirt on you. And knowing that when it all stop, they could go get everything you own for dirt cheap. If this right, think about it now. If this right here hurt Tyler and it cut his deals, it's only gonna be so long he can afford that compound that produced that studio in Atlanta. And one of the major studios will come buy him out. After he done put all that money in there, built it up, they'll wait 2-3 years when he on his last leg and he just need a quick sale, a short sale. He just trying to get out of it because he needs some money because everything is sinking. So many deals done fell through. The island about to be up for foreclosure. All of that right there. Y'all forget me. Y'all forget me. My production crew writing me. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about that. In or around early October 2020, Perry invited Dixon and other actors from the Oval on a cash trip to Perry's personal island in the Bahamas. Dixon knew, as did everyone else on the show, that declining to go on this trip might cause Perry to erase you from the show. Dixon agreed to go, knowing that the whole cast was going to be there. One night, while in the Perry's private island in the Bahamas, the cast was having a party. At the end of the night, Perry told Dixon that he wanted to talk to him. Dixon was caught off guard. Perry made alcoholic drinks and forced Dixon to drink with him. Dixon knew that he could not refuse the drinks, otherwise he would risk upsetting Mr. Perry. Instead, Dixon tried to stay in control and sipped the drink slowly. Tyler Perry did not control himself. He drank until it was clear that the alcohol had made him bold and sexually aggressive. Perry told Dixon that he wanted a relationship with someone who could be emotionally and sexually available to him, but would also be permissive of Perry having his own relationship with someone else. Perry said he could see himself having that type of relationship with Dixon. Perry insisted that Dixon needed to be with someone rich because Dixon liked nice things. Perry told Dixon that he was watching all the cast as they laid out in their sun with tanning oil. Perry continued raving about how seeing Dixon greased up like that was driving him crazy. Tyler Perry said he would have burnt the whole island down if one of the other actors or anyone else from the group had touched Dixon that night. Wow. second here. And now they got the picture of the text message in there. This on page 23 on the thing I'm on. I'm reading the whole thing on that site Script. What, like, have all these documents or books and stuff, and you could download it. Say download free for 30 days, and you download all these different things. I don't know who thought to put it on here. Tyler Perry said he would have burnt the whole island down if one of the other actors or anyone else from the group had touched Dixon that night. At that point, he once again aggressively seized Dixon and groped his buttocks. I don't know, but at least the man just grabbing booty and not meat leg, because I was thinking the man would be trying to grab meat leg. I'm like, I don't know what, man, love some booty cheek. Dixon once again did not reciprocate and froze up. Perry got the message and told Dixon to go to bed. Dixon was terrified and could barely sleep. Now see this right here. They put some sauce on this now. This not no little boy. You was a grown, musky man. You was not terrified. Tyler Perry ain't scary. It's like, okay, yeah, billionaire and all of that. And well, the power dynamic. Listen, when you a man, you don't feel the power dynamic the same way that a woman might feel it. It's like, man, please. But see, I'm wondering if more happened. And if Tyler gonna have to come out and show some other text messages and show some consensuality or what have you. From that moment on, Perry became extremely frustrated and possessive. Perry wanted desperately for Dixon to be attracted to him, but Dixon was not. And this stuff sounding, but that right there, though, it's sounding real. And in this picture, you got Tyler standing in the water beside a jet ski, holding the handle with a life jacket on. Nice picture. The water does look calm. That's what Dixon said. And then Tyler put nice picture with 4 question marks. And then Dixon wrote great, amazing, awesome picture with 3 exclamations or 4 exclamations. And then Tyler put, you don't see that stud in that nice picture? Rude. Then Dixon put, LOL, yes, that's a stud. And then Tyler wrote, a-hole. Tyler sounded like he called the man an a-hole. He put rude. It just right there by itself. Then the man said, yes, that's it's LOL. Yes, that's a stud. And the man put LOL. Like, oh. The man was like, no, I ain't see no stud in the picture. See old burnt milk dud in the picture. That's what the man thinks, because the man ain't black now. The man don't like black men. The man don't like black men. My wife showed me a picture of him, I think. That man don't like no black men. That man, if he like men at all, I don't know if he playing that as a role too. Like he playing Dale. In one exchange, from that moment, Perry became extremely frustrated and possessive. Perry was desperately for Dixon to be attracted to him, but Dixon was not. It looked like that in the text message, that Dixon was not attracted. In one exchange, and I'm like, who would be? Like, I'm not even sure Tyler Perry would be considered attractive by black gay men. I don't know. Like I just ain't never seen nobody or heard nobody talk about that about him. So now you got a man of a whole nother race. In one exchange, Perry sent pictures of himself from the Bahamas to Dixon. Dixon responded that the water looked nice. Perry got upset that Dixon did not see the stud in the picture and instead focused on the water. Perry called Dixon an a-hole for laughing out loud and Perry's desire for Dixon to call him a stud. Now, I thought that's what the gay women was called. Studs. And I know they say studs for like good athletes and stuff sometimes too. It's just all weird. There's different ways this word being used now. On or around October 18, 2020, and following Dixon's return from the Bahamas, Perry told Dixon that he was jealous that Dixon was giving too much attention to other men. Perry stated that Dixon was being too much of a social butterfly and that he would need Dixon to sit still this week, further attempting to exercise his influence over Dixon's interactions with other men. Perry continued to wield his position as Dixon's boss, demanding sexual attention in exchange for his continued employment. These text messages were followed by others to Dixon like, "Derek, don't you dare ignore me. I deserve better. I deserve attention all the time." Dixon, out of fear for the unknown future of his career, continued to give Perry the social attention he demanded, even though Dixon would constantly get sexually harassed. Boy, I wonder how TDJ's feeling about that $1 million donation. Nah, TDJ's over there shaking his boot like, my goodness, boy, I can't win, boy. First, they calling me a power bottom at the P. Diddy party. Now I got sexual harassing Tyler Perry that gave $1 million to my church and I let him lay hands on me. And I fell out in the spirit. Knowing Tyler Perry ain't got no Holy Spirit in him. I feel bad for TDJ taking losses. Catching strays. Man. On several occasions, Perry would text Dixon while drunk. Boy, one thing they is really doing is making Tyler Perry look like an absolute drunk on this thing, boy. My goodness, boy. On several occasions, Perry would text Dixon while drunk. In one exchange, Perry told Dixon, "You know what I cooked, Derek?" And then proceeds to say, "I'm so drunk," talking S. In December of 2020, Dixon began feeling depleted due to Perry's continued pattern of sexual harassment. Now, beside that, they got the text and say, "You know what I cook?" And then the next thing, Derek. And then Derek wrote spaghetti. And then he wrote cake. And then Tyler wrote you. Then he wrote, "I'm so drunk," talking S. Now, I think Tyler could be doing some blaming on the alcohol because this just corny jokes, really. Like, you ain't got to be drunk to be corny. And so he could just be blaming stuff on alcohol. But this is, man. I thank the Lord I ain't got nothing in my text message and be texting women or anybody. These guys be talking to men like that. I'm like, wow. Like, my goodness. Let me see here. In December 2020, Dixon began feeling depleted due to Perry's continued pattern of sexual harassment. The assaults and harassment began manifesting in his physical health, and Mr. Dixon had no one to turn to. Dixon visited a physician who indicated that Dixon exhibited severe symptoms of acute stress, insomnia, stomach issues, and dangerously low cortisol levels due to the sexual harassment and assault that he exhibited severe symptoms. The physician prescribed Zoloft, an antidepressant, for Dixon's ailments. The sexual harassment continued through the beginning of 2021. Perry continued sending Dixon unsolicited photos of Dixon's body from the set of The Oval, with comments such as, "Oh my," and they got the G-D, "Look at Thick Derek." Thick. That's one. That's A. Exhibit A. Exhibit B. No. The weight difference. I can do see it. I can see it, or I do see it. Tyler having typos. Tyler typing too fast. Then C. Thick Derek. Okay, good. Then D. Nope. I can't deal with Thick Derek. LOL. Then E. What's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have you found that yet in therapy? Then F. What's your waist? I'm so glad Thick Derek is back. Is with us. Then G. Breakout in A and thighs. Breakout. H. You home? Question mark. I don't want you out with your friends drinking. Then I. You are the rose, but you are so blocked that you refuse to be smelt or opened. Then J. When you finally are able to unlock your mind, you're going to make that person crazy. Crazy in a good way. Then K. Have you been intimate with someone? H-I-J-K. L. L. Why did that photo of plaintiff and another cast member make me jealous? You two together. M. Thick Derek. Get that Chipotle. No, I can't. Only from your jeans. N. Derek is there to make men swoon. Oh, what I mean by that is that you're so beautiful. When you finally are able to unlock your mind, you're going to make that person crazy. Crazy in a good way. Dixon responded, as long as my face doesn't get messed up. As long as it doesn't leave a mark. And Tyler Perry responded, what will leave a mark, Derek? Say it. On your neck? What do you mean you haven't? Have you been intimate with someone? P. I can't wait to get that phone call from you when you tell me you let go and you loved every minute of it. Referring to plaintiff's desire to openly engage in sexual encounters. And then P, Q. Q. No straight man would be going on walks with you or cooking dinner for you. He ain't lying. Unless they wanted to F you. I would F you. Whew. Well, I'm getting sick to my stomach. I was thinking Derek was lying about getting sick to his stomach, but I'm sitting over here about to go get me some Zoloft. I'm like, my good, I'm over here having acute sickness. What they call it? It ain't acute sickness, it's acute. Now that's ACUTE, all one word for those of y'all who don't have that level of vocabulary yet. Now you just learned your word. I'm getting acute sickness and anxiety. Whew. If you're a doctor in Florida, I might need another Zoloft to sleep tonight after reading this. I'm just like, I am hoping this is not true. I was about to say I'm praying this ain't true, but I ain't finna waste the Lord's time. I'm not finna waste the Lord's time with no prayers about this. I'm hoping this ain't true though. Then and Tyler said, unless they wanted to F you, I would F you. And then on R, he said, what are you doing hanging out with that girlfriend of yours? She wants you too. Everyone wants to F Jacob, referring to Dixon's character in the pilot of Losing It. Oh, so Jacob is the character in his pilot Losing It. And what was you losing, Jacob? And that pilot probably was terrible. After several weeks, so Tyler actually read the pilot. So he read it to see if that pilot had some legs. To see if he could do something with it and hopefully not do nothing with Derek for it. But we're on page 25 or 46. After several weeks of unreciprocated, let me see, hour 110. Boy, y'all see now, I ain't the greatest reader. It'll take me a while. After several weeks of unreciprocated sexual innuendos and demands for attention, Perry lashed out at Dixon on set and asked if he needed to punch Dixon in the stomach for Dixon to act the way Perry envisioned in a scene. This exchange was highly tense, and Perry's reaction stunned several cast members. Actors on set consoled Dixon for the abrasive interaction, confused as to why Perry overreacted in such a manner. But Dixon knew that Perry was lashing out due to his frustration at the lack of attention Dixon was giving him. On or around June 4th, 2021, Perry invited Dixon to his house to spend some time together and discuss the pilot of Losing It. Although Dixon hesitated, he feared the consequences of disappointing Perry and believed once Losing It was a big show, he would be freed from under the clutches of Perry. During his visit, Perry made several alcoholic beverages for himself and demanded to know why Dixon was not having sex with anyone. Perry probed further about Dixon's sex life, insisting that the two were becoming increasingly drunk and it was time to end the night. Perry then led Dixon to a guest house where a guest bedroom was. Dixon would be staying there that night. Inside the guest bedroom, Perry motioned to Dixon to come see a weight monitor that he had. Perry told Dixon that for the monitor to work, Dixon would need to step on the monitor wearing only his underwear and push Dixon to try it out. Dixon tried to avoid the uncomfortable situation but decided it was better to comply and hurry to bed than to wait for the alternative at that point. After weighing himself, Dixon walked toward the guest bedroom, followed by Perry, who then asked Dixon for a good night hug. Rather than arguing, Dixon complied, at which point Perry reached down and yanked Dixon's underwear down from behind. Perry then began to vigorously grab, grope, and play with Dixon's buttocks in a sexual manner. Dixon was naked, stunned, and seized by tremendous fear. Dixon started to tell Perry that he did not want his underwear down, that Dixon didn't want to be naked, and that Dixon didn't want this. Dixon quickly reached to pull his underwear back up. As soon as he did, Perry grabbed Dixon's reaching arm with a tight grip and held fast. Tyler Perry told Derek Dixon to relax and to just let it happen, and that Perry wasn't going to hurt Dixon. Perry continued to sexually grope Dixon's buttocks. Dixon's anxiety rapidly. Did what y'all books be reading? Let's see, I never read a fiction book, but I done heard about them. And this right here sound like I read some, like, this sound like the content that Tyler Perry might actually wish he could make if he wasn't out here supposed to be Christian. Because this right here, and somebody told me that his content lately been getting more sexually explicit. Like, now, what do we got going on here? Because I'm just picturing a grown man with a grown man and the other man pants getting, underwear getting pulled down and a bunch of cheek getting grabbed. All this cheek grabbing is really throwing me for a loop. Dixon's anxiety rapidly escalated, thinking that he might soon be raped. Dixon was not sure what to do and his breath shortened. They putting a lot on this. They acting like this man, like, is this man like 4 foot tall or something? Perry ignored Dixon's refusal and held Dixon's hand fast, preventing him from reaching for his underwear. Dixon was naked and being groped by a large, drunk, and sexually frustrated 6'5" man who had Dixon in his clutches. Ain't no Tyler was 6'5". I thought he looked tall. I ain't know the man was 6'5" though. Man, that would be a nightmare. To be 6'5" and not be like an athlete, like muscular, like that's NBA height. I'm like, okay, now 6'5", all right, that makes sense. I'm thinking Tyler Perry was maybe 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". 6'5"? They wanted to write and sexually frustrated 6'5" black man who had Dixon in it. But see, they left the color out of there. I'm talking about drunk. And then they say sexually frustrated. Like, that's what Tyler telling that man. But for every Dixon that won't do nothing with Tyler, there have to be 10 to 20 that will. But it sounds like that he wants somebody that is hard to get so that that person won't tell. Whereas if he get one of these little spread eagle men walking around Atlanta, they gonna be bumping their gums so much. And it's like he don't want what he can get. He want what he think is exotic and unreachable and untouchable and out of his league. Like it sounds like his money done got him to, if all this is true now, this all alleged now. But if this is true, it sounds like he wants something that his money could buy. And then now he meet a man that even money can't buy. And he probably, if he into this type of stuff, he probably done been able to knock off a good amount of black men, and now is bored with the black men, and now want him one of these here. I don't know if this a white guy or what he is. Hispanic, what, mixed? Dixon did not know if he was going to have to get into a physical fight, but he knew that any efforts to fight back were hopeless. Perry had armed security at his gate. They is at the gate. What is they gonna do? He acting like they finna come in and help hold them down. Yeah, Tyler, come on, get him. We holding them. Yeah, do what you want to do. Like, they at the gate. Perry had armed security at his gate, was much larger than Dixon, and told Dixon that he had several guns in his home. It's like, really? Come on now. Y'all know old soft Tyler Perry, who put on a dress for majority of his living, is not intimidating like that. Now, yeah, he's 6'5", but you hit Tyler with one of those. But man, come on now. Dixon was desperate for a way out and remarked that he couldn't do anything sexual because he was so hungry. Attempting to change the conversation. Oh, that's how he did it? Dixon asked, is there any food up here? Which prompted Perry to withdraw and order a pizza. Dixon, in fear of his safety, followed Perry into the main house to eat the pizza. Afterwards, Dixon returned to the guest house and, unable to lock the bedroom door, locked himself in the guest house bathroom and slept on the floor. Dixon then attempted to contact some close friends about the incident. Wow. This man must be in the 4 foot something, because I just can't see no full grown man acting like this. I can't wrap my head around that. Slept on the bathroom floor around. Come on now. I understand not what, but it's like, if Allah came back over there, ain't that gonna look awkward? You sleeping on the bathroom floor and you can't lock the bedroom door. What kind of guest house got a door on it that ain't got a lock on it. It's like every door got a lock on it now. So unless that just was Tyler thing, well, ain't no lock on the door, so I could bust in here when I want to. But man, it's like wow. Well, I tell you what, I don't know if this stuff real or fake, but if Tyler called me, I do not think I'm gonna be answering. Hey, better answer that. Why the hell that phone call with that? No, Tyler, you better go to the house just in case I don't make it home tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to come through there. No, Tyler, cause we'll have a different kind of move on our hands. So, boy, I have to take a life for this right here kind of treatment. No, sir. And unable to lock the bedroom door, locked himself in the guest house bathroom and slept on the floor. Dixon then attempted to contact some close friends about the incident. The following morning, Dixon realized that he had left his car keys in the main house and upon going to retrieve them, encountered Perry. Perry told Dixon that last night's incident was why the two shouldn't drink together, and that the previous night's incident shouldn't have happened. Dixon responded, said, "Oh, so that was my fault?" To which Perry replied, "No, no, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that shouldn't have happened and I drank too much." Attempting to excuse himself for grabbing Dixon's buttocks, groping Dixon, and attempting to have sex with Dixon against his will. At this point, Dixon left Perry's home uncontrollably shaking, and contacted his close friends to discuss the unspeakable horror from the night before. For the next several days until June 6, 2021, Perry texted and called Dixon incessantly with messages asking Dixon to call him or answer his calls. Finally, Dixon answered, at which point Perry began to apologize, blaming the testosterone supplements he was taking at the time. Perry had confided in Dixon about these supplements in past messages and decided to use them as a scapegoat for his actions. Dixon emphasized that he was not okay with what happened and that he had never asked Perry for anything, to which Perry replied, "I know, that's why I like you." Perry further attempted to rectify his misconduct by inviting Dixon on a yacht trip and telling Dixon that Perry was for sure going to make Dixon's pilot. Dixon realized that Perry was offering to make losing it to effectively silence Dixon. Perry sent a text message trying to arrange for Dixon to come to his yacht with another person so that Dixon would feel comfortable. Dixon responded that he would not board the yacht and refused Perry's invitation. After Dixon refused to go on the yacht, Perry did not text Dixon for 5 months. Sensing that Dixon was upset, Perry called Dixon once to update him that Perry was looking for a director for the pilot. During this 5-month period, Dixon was regularly in therapy. He suffered from severe depression, anxiety, stomach pains, and nausea, resulting in a new prescription for another antidepressant. Dixon was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and his therapist recommended that he seek outpatient treatment costing upwards of $20,000, a price too high for Dixon at that time. So he was making some money, but he couldn't afford that there. Then in the text messages, how do they make money then? Subscriptions. They make money from the advertising. Lots of money. That's Tyler. I love how I feel right now, but I don't like being horny. Testosterone. Then Dixon says, "Oh yeah, from the doctor, but it is making you feel better?" Question. Then Tyler said, "I feel so good, but I don't like being horny. I feel sorry for the first person that flirts with me." And then Dixon wrote, "LOL, OL." Then Tyler said, "You don't even understand." And then Tyler wrote him, "Tried you, call me." Then Dixon wrote, "Hey, I think the hangover hit me harder than I thought. Can we talk later?" And then Tyler said, yes, it was quick, but okay. And then Tyler wrote him later, I really need to talk to you, my friend. Please call as soon as you can. So, and that was like, what did that say when he said call as soon as you can? That's 7:18 a.m. And okay, that was the next day. So Dixon either was setting up this thing right or he really was traumatized because Tyler hit him up 10 a.m. Say, I tried you, call me. Buddy at 10 a.m. say the hangover hit me harder than I thought. Can we talk later? Tyler say, yes, it was quick, but okay. Then the next morning, 7 a.m., Tyler conscience, that guilty conscience went to setting in. He talking, I really need to talk to you, my friend. Please call as soon as you can. That's 7. And then what time this is now? 4 p.m., 3:57 p.m. Dixon ain't right on back. Tyler say, trying to do rooms on the boat. If I invite Bill, would you be okay sharing a room with him or not? And that sounds suspect because you said you don't want the man around nobody. And then on, that was, what that say? June 8th. And that's 4 o'clock. Then at 5:08, Dixon say, hey, I appreciate the invite, but I think I need some more time. And don't think I can go on a trip just, maybe say just yet. So now some more time from what now? Did y'all actually go all the way or you just need some time now from what had happened? During that time, Dixon began speaking with people about the sexual assault and was assessing his rights. As soon as Perry realized that Dixon was done talking to him, Dixon got a message from Perry's fixers. Perry's fixers contacted Dixon indicating Dixon's character in The Oval, the one who was shot, would be returning with a new storyline next season, and Dixon was receiving a graduated raise from $10,000 per episode. So that wasn't really like no lot of money, but I mean, that was some. I made more than that when I went on TV. Per episode to $16,000 per episode. That would continue to increase to upwards of $19,000 per episode over the coming seasons. The attorney said that Christmas came early for Dixon, but he was doing a good job on the Oval. However, they also told Dixon he was forbidden from letting his castmates know about the raise because nobody other than him would be receiving a similar pay increase. Lastly, the fixers told Dixon that Perry wanted to buy the right to produce the pilot of Losing It and planned to spend up to $1 million producing the pilot. Dixon immediately knew why he was getting this raise and why the pilot was being produced. He knew he could keep the money and the job or complain about the sexual harassment, but not both. The situation facing Dixon presented a challenging decision that left him unable to take any action or make any decision. The prospect of the sexual assault and harassment becoming public and dealing with Perry's highly paid attorneys was daunting. Perry had significant resources, whereas Dixon did not. Dixon's goals of working as an actor and being discovered for his talents might be jeopardized. In what was an extremely difficult decision, y'all forgive me, got to pause this.